everybody. Chi-Town, we should be live now. This is the Asian Hate Show. Big ups to Inglewood.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use.
B1.
For purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research.
Black
fair
folks,
use
B1.
Is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Please take this time to like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in here. Self Love Show starts in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah, buddy.
What are you looking at, slave?
Silence is violence, and evil's greatest ally. Those who turn a blind eye act like they don't know why. Say the police will not use such behavior. If you white, you right and have favor. But if you black, bodies pile high. Sight unseen, right in front of your face on the video screen, know what I mean? Popo lie. Fear for their life from an unarmed man. I guess he felt melanin was his weapon. They kill.
Nigga, get your hand out my pocket.
Get no charges and go free. So we need to be on our P's and Q's. Don't play no fool. The rules ain't fair. Life ain't no crystal stair. So we best prepare. Our little people, if you see something, say something.
12.
Show the world we do care. So beware. Silence is violence. Get you a trip to the devil's lair.
Self-love, you done did it again, Loop. You a genius.
Call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Hey, this what y'all wanted me in Chicago? No block right here. That shit call this shit no block. It's 10 o'clock. Where the fuck y'all niggas at? Niggas ain't outside. It's only 10 p.m. Where the fuck y'all niggas at, blood?
O Block right now. Where we at? Tell you something, man. This Nino Brown, man. I'm live on O Block right now. Where we at? This O Block. I'm from Miami. I just want to tell niggas, man, we gotta stop killing each other, man. Yeah, this shit ain't about nothing. All that killing shit, we gotta work together, man. Stop killing each other, my nigga. I had to come over here and tell niggas that shit, my nigga.
I'm right here. See where I'm at. I'm out here. Black Star Line cigars. For grown man. And grown men stuff. And to the PDs, stop doing that killing. Please, stop doing that killing.
Please like, share, subscribe. We are live.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
All the way through the show.
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be cleared and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child. For said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
24 years ago today, iconic rapper Tupac Shakur was shot here in Las Vegas.
The rapper was shot inside of a BMW while stopped at a red light on Koval and Flamingo. We all know the story. He then died 6 days later. The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet. No one has ever been arrested for Tupac's murder.
1 minute, 1 minute.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Couldn't handle the truth. You get your truth from ABC. You get your truth from Fox News.
Yeah, buddy. Let's get her done. Chi-Town. Home of music, please. Yeah. Self love. Vision. Oh, yeah. What down, what down? Chi-Town kids are back in the building. Major topic. At least it was once upon a time. Got a bill done, and now we don't know what's going on. Where are all the attacks? But either way, we're going to unpack it. We're going to unpack the bill and much, much more here today. Welcome to Chi-Town's very own, the Self Love Show. We got two mottos. Motto number one, on earth as it is in heaven. Bing. All praise due to the ancestors. Motto number two is as above, so below. Right now, we're found Malcolm exclusively right here on This Ain't That Network. This ain't Fox, Disney, ABC. This ain't none of that. This ain't MSNBC, CBS, whatever your feed is. This definitely ain't that. This ain't ESPN, but this is TATN. Huh? You got McDonald's, ESPN, huh? TATN. Huh? I'm just a kid from Chicago. Yes, sir. This is your co-host, Nine Millie, also known as Self. What down, Chi-Town? What down to the universe? Repeat after he. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. Today is hump day. That'll be Wednesday, May 4, 2022. It's 8:13 in the PM in the great city of Chicago. And you cats can be any place in this magnanimous universe. And thankfully, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here. Yeah. Together. Yeah. What down, brother Wordsmith? What you manifesting today, sir?
Love, man. You know me. I'm manifesting love. Glass is a little crooked here. Yo, love. What you manifesting?
Ditto, good brother. Pure, unfettered, unfiltered. Some say harsh, some say tough. But it's love just the same, good brother. It's love just the same.
No doubt.
So what's been going on in your neck of the shot these days, fam?
Man, just getting it in. Working with Sweet Potato Patch.
Big ups to Sweet Potato Patch. Black owned, operated.
Absolutely. And getting it in and delivering over 2,000 meals weekly and expanding from there.
Man, they're getting y'all getting big, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a nice number of meals. I wish I was out here, man, you know, because I just told you I'm changing up my whole eating lifestyle.
Yeah.
That'd be right up my alley.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Right up my alley. But big ups, and maybe we can get the founder, CEO to appear on the show again, because, you know, The spooks deleted that one.
Hackers.
Yeah. Yeah, the heck. So, all right. So today, what to expect, as always, we run a self-love show quote of the day. And then we got our MGD video. That's our platform. That's our foundation. That's what we stand upon. It's a less than 1 minute video. And then, of course, we have a tattoo tyranny video. Today's video is rather short as well. Big ups to Big Nick, South Florida. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. And then I think we may have a to move or not to move. And then after that, we got our dome teaser. That's our riddle. Our local riddler here, Brother Wordsmith. He should resolve it. Don't know about our chat. I don't know if they're, you definitely don't want to, they're definitely smart, but, they must either be intimidated or lazy. But I don't know. All right. But big ups to the chat. Thanks for your support. And then, of course, our topic today is Asian hate. Why now? What's the origin? The roots, the causes, cures. What's the historical relationship between the B1 and our Asian X community? And then next week, sneak peek. And then, of course, my personal favorite part of the show is Wordsmith's final words out there. That's where he summarizes everything in a freestyle bit of prose off the rip, off the top of the dome. So, but what about announcements? Self-love, you got any announcements, Brody?
Oh man, Eddie Sevo got a write-up in Daily Music Roll for his song "Wash Your Behind." It's not "But You're Behind" though.
Yeah, wash your ass. All right, big ups to Eddie Sevo. Yeah, maybe we could play it, and at some point during the show, a little snippet so we don't get flagged by YouTube's Find Us, right? Yeah, it's great.
We
great
definitely
song.
would have permission because one of the people that
Yeah, but you know how the bots are. Yeah, the bots run the world. At least that's what's coming. But yeah, congrats on that achievement. Where's the write-up going to be?
It's in Daily Music Roll.
All right.
I'll put the link in the chat.
Sweet. All right. And then stop the violence out there. That's pretty much what I got. Stop the drilling, use your words and, because, you can do something, 30 seconds can change your life, the next 30 years of your life. So, it's a lot of alternative universes, but the one you're in is going to be the one you're in. So if you pull out the blickety and shoot somebody over $5, in one universe, you didn't do it. You probably went off to become a rich person. In another universe, you went straight to the penitentiary or you went to the duet out there. Huh? So,
yep.
Yeah. If you need help, reach out to someone, grab an old head, humble yourself. We all need to ask for help from time to time. And that's why the universe created all of us, because we all could be on our own planet by ourselves, but that's not the way the grand design is. So stop the killing. Yeah. All right. Like, share, subscribe. And if anybody's out there, if we got anybody from the Asian X community or the AAPI, we'd love to hear from you. And also, where are you from out there? Where are you chiming in from? The phone lines are open, 424-900-6945, 424-900-6945. So, yeah, that's completely troll free. Standard rates and fees, apply. Trolls get holes. I pinned that number at the top of the chat. We'll recite that number from time to time. And yeah, enough of my blabbing. We'll throw this over to this brother, Self Love, so he can handle business.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share it far and wide. Share it with some like minds so we can grow this community. As always, we have a very important video that I need you to check out. pay close attention to it, as it is the platform that we are growing the Self Love Nation off of, the More Growth and Development platform. And as always, before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. Misunderstanding arising from ignorance breeds fear, and fear remains the greatest enemy of peace. Once again, misunderstanding arising from ignorance breeds fear, and fear remains the greatest enemy of peace. Lester B. Pearson. And check this out. Be right back at you. Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. And 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, to shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap. We're closing the gap. Yeah, what's our 10th tenet of understanding?
And we've got number 10, protect our women and children by any and all means necessary.
Facts. I concur with that. Let's protect them. Or else why are we here?
Facts.
Why are
We'll
we
continue if we don't.
Facts. And big ups to Boykin Grafford III, our guest from last week, starting a startup. Let me tell you something. He knows a lot about water and water quality, and he knows a lot about EV charging solutions, right?
He does. Facts.
Yes. Yes. All facts. So solid show, chock full of information. What say ye, Self Love?
I agree wholeheartedly, and I would advise you to do a little search and watch it for yourself.
Facts. I concur with that as well. All right. You guys like, share, subscribe. Please like, share, subscribe. Today's topic is Asian hate. Why now? Origin, causes, cures, historical relationships with B1. That's what we're going to be unpacking today. So get your tea ready, your brewskis, your fresh water, whatever it is. We're going to unpack some stuff, and it's going to be extremely informative. So, but yeah, self-love. I don't know if you, did you see the latest Big Nick South Florida joint?
Not sure. I know I've been checking them lately, but I don't know if I've seen the latest one.
Yeah, it was the latest one as of a couple days ago. So I know you stay pretty unplugged, but let's go ahead, production.
What's your name and your badge number?
Big ups to Big Nick, South Florida.
First Amendment, you ever heard of it? How y'all doing? What's so pressing about this conversation that you got to be parked the wrong way on a one-way street in my neighborhood, making the streets unsafe? You got to follow the... Yes, you are. You parked the opposite way. Look at this coward pulling off. Get the hell on. Park right. Okay. Don't do that in my neighborhood. Be safe. If I got to follow the laws, you do too. Okay. Y'all could have parked over normally.
You can cut it. That brings a huge smile to my face.
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's supposed to be.
Thanks.
Right? I mean, we are the bosses. We're the tax-paying citizenry. You know, he's like, look at this coward pulling off.
Get out of here. He said, okay.
Yeah.
Try to come with some rigmarole.
Well, they've been audited. What's that, bro?
He thought better of it. Was Nick was like,
Oh,
coward,
yeah.
pull it off. It's like, oh yeah, it's Big Nick. I better chill.
Yeah, they've been audited ad nauseum and probably had some lawsuits, and you know, but you know, if every citizen moved like Big Nick, you know what I mean? These guys would act a little. There'd be a lot more. I mean, you know, I don't know how that would go over. You know, over there in your precinct with 12.
Yeah, I mean, probably not too well.
You know what I mean?
They
you
do
know what
shady
I'm saying?
business on camera and don't care.
Man. Right. But that's the thing. He's got that camera out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge for it.
Facts. So, you know, we had a little, you know, that wasn't our, you know, tattoo tyranny, but that's how you deal with tyranny. Would you say so?
That's definitely. I mean, you know your law, you know exactly how they're supposed to act, and they know that you know, so they don't step out of that.
Facts. All right. So yeah, you got to know your stuff though, and you got to have a camera going. All right, here we go, Self, and some attorneys behind you too. But here we go, Self Love. We got a how to move or not to move out yet, and big ups to our crack production staff. This is a short video, and then we'll get on topic.
Yep, it's true. This bride and groom had a totally dreamy wedding for just $500. How did Kiera and Joel Brokenbrow do it?
My whole thing was, okay, how can I get what I want without breaking the bank? So I just started to look at my resources.
First, the venue, a free public park. Then the invite.
I'm very creative, so I made the invitations.
The mother of the bride is a pastor, so she came free. The flowers were gifted by her godmother. And as for music,
I created a playlist on iTunes and we just let it play.
Kiera's gorgeous bridal gown was just $47.
Joel, how much was your tux?
About $100.
So you're the spender of the group.
This was no small affair. 40 guests, but the reception was held at a local restaurant, and the guests picked up their individual tabs.
We let them know on the invitation this is what we're going to be celebrating. Food and drink will be available for purchase if they want it.
Grand total, under $500.
We got married for less than $500.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Way to move.
Is that good for our community? Yeah, I agree. I agree, Self. And if you've got 15, 20 stacks to throw away for a wedding, then
don't
invest in right. Don't do it and invest in a home or a business or a duplex or something of that nature. You can even take that ring money and invest in that too. And start out great. Right, so
facts.
Yeah. So big ups to that couple, and it seems like they're smart about their money at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the way marriages go in this country, spend all that money on a wedding. I mean,
man, and people stiffing you when they show up to your reception.
Just saying,
$5 in an envelope or nothing, and you spent all that money. I'm not saying no names.
Yeah, it don't make no sense.
Nah, don't show up. If you want to show up, you can order your own food and drink.
My buddy,
we got
had a Spency wedding. Spency, yeah.
They
were separated 3 months.
Wow. 90 days later, huh?
90 days later, he's living in Hyde Park. Telling me, hey, I just moved. I said, oh yeah, what's going on? Because I was in the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he like, man, I'm living in Hyde Park, man. It's crazy. It's over. It's over.
It's either my connection's bad or yours. But
it's over?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
You could probably get an annulment in 90 days. I don't know how long it's got to be in Illinois, but they probably qualify for the annulment.
I don't know. I think they got divorced. I think.
Wow.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Just know they ain't together.
Hope they got the divorce on the cheap. But all right, so we both agree that is how to move. So let's move on over to the dome teaser, and that's today's riddle. Here we go. I can run, but not walk. I have a mouth, but never talk, and a head, but never weeps. I even have a bed, but never sleep. What am I? Thumbs up. I'll read it one more time for the chat rats out there. I can run, but not walk. I have a mouth, but never talk, and a head, but never weep. I even have a bed, but never sleep. What am I? And we'll get you the key to said riddle at the end of the show, so stick around for that. And so as I said, today's we're about to get on topic. We're covering Asian hate. Why now? The origin, causes, cures, historical relationship with B1. So I think we got a promo vid we're gonna run, and then let's just get this conversation going. Let's see here. I think it's in there. Yeah, it's in there. We'll spend that for a couple minutes. Already in May. On the Self Luv Show, right here at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, at 6 p.m. on the West Coast. We're covering Asian hate. Fact or fiction, real or cap.
At a time when Washington is increasingly bitter and divided, the Senate came together today to overwhelmingly denounce and tackle hate against Asian Americans. Senators passed the COVID-19 hate crimes bill 94-1. Well, the bill gives incentives to police to keep track of hate crimes. It creates a new position in the Department of Justice to speed up review of the crimes. And it works with local agencies to raise awareness of hate crime reporting.
Been a lot of chatter about that over there. See, Self Love and I, we don't do these shows just to catch the algorithm, just to chat about it and everybody else. We do it when the good Lord moves us to do the show. You know, we've had enough information, we've heard about, enough data, and now we're going to sit here and unpack it.
They've been happening for a long time. I was recently talking to a friend of mine who's Korean, and in a age right now, in a year, we talk so much about white and black and brown. I'm like, do you feel like you fit into one of those categories? And he said no.
Yeah, shut up, California. Say yourself, Asian hate.
This surveillance footage shows a 71-year-old Asian grandmother violently shoved to the ground, her purse stolen. Just one of several attacks in California's Bay Area recently. A 91-year-old man pushed in Oakland's Chinatown, one of 3 attacks that day. 84-year-old Thai American Visha Ratanapakdi knocked over while out for a walk. He died a few days later from his injuries.
Fact or fiction?
Well, there's been a lot of hate going around, and
You buy now. You not to drink beer in store. Hey man, I'ma pay you. Hey look, bitch, stop following me around this motherfucker. You getting on my nerves.
You hurry up and buy.
Fuck up, man.
So I'm not sure what they're talking about.
All right, we can phase that
talk
out.
about it next week to figure it out.
Just pay and leave. Hey man, I said I'm gonna pay you. Won't you calm your motherfucking nerves? Damn, hurry up and go.
Let's cut the video, please. All right. We're gonna talk about it. Asian hate. All right, so we're gonna jump it off, and these questions are for the chat. Feel free to call the number that's pinned in the chat, or you can just simply type your responses. What's going on? Why won't this download? You can simply type your responses in the chat there. Yeah, in the live chat. Hold on a second, though. I need to, just in case. This thing won't download my phone app. Come on. Must not have room here. There we go. All right. It downloaded.
Right.
I guess I had to stare at it, right?
Give it the eye.
Yeah.
You download, you computer.
Right. All right. So here we go, bro. We're going to kick it off. Do you have a sense of the historical treatment of Asians in these United States of America?
To my recollection, it's very poor in the beginning when they were helping build the railroads. But that's the only. I don't have any recollection other than that as far as historically.
Well, you had those concentration camps in for Japanese during World War II.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't look. That was much sooner than I was thinking. But it is historical, and you're exactly right.
Let's see here. Yeah, and so it's interesting when you actually, look at the history behind it. Self Love, they've had quite the plight. But what I will say or acknowledge is that, most of them, as far as we know, they come here voluntarily. They're leaving a situation that I guess could be worse. I don't know. Because they're coming, I don't know if the government's forced them to come over here. I mean, I'm not dealing with enough information, but it appears as though they came here voluntarily.
Yeah, well, as far as China goes, it's alleged that they incarcerate people for very light crimes, and they'll harvest their organs.
Oh, wow.
Sentence them to death and take their organs and sell them.
What do you mean? You mean all of them just have you mean like a piano organ? All right. Here we go. Let me give go through a little history that I came across here. The painful history of anti-Asian hate crimes in America. Let's see. There are 23 million Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, that's AAPI, in the U.S. Ever since the pandemic began, a new poll suggests 1 out of every 3 fears they will be attacked. Hate crimes overall increased last year by 2%, but hate crimes against the Asian American and Pacific Islander rose by 146%. All right. Let's see. Gonna get to the history though. Okay. They said that battered economies have always been one of the root causes for scapegoating Asian Americans. You can see this happening as early as 1870s with the conclusion of the railroad construction. You have spikes of just outrage pink workers who are claiming that the Chinese took their jobs, taking their jobs, and therefore need to be gotten rid of. As a result, anti-Chinese rioters burned down and even wiped out Chinatowns across the nation. And in 1882, the US government made anti-Asian racism official with the Chinese Exclusion Act, prohibiting all immigration by Chinese laborers. It was the first federal act of its kind, barring a specific ethnic group from entering the US, an act that was legal for 61 years until it was repealed in 1943, right around the time that Japan became America's public enemy number one. In 1965, a CBS News documentary entitled The Pride and the Shame, The Nisai, The Pride and the Shame, Walter Cronkite spoke of the wartime attitude against Japanese Americans, which would unleash a deep racial hate against all things Japanese. During the war, 120,000 people with Japanese heritage were forced to give up their homes and put into internment camps. Most are American citizens by birth. There's no proven guilt, not even a proven military need. After World War II, Japanese Americans struggled to regain stability. When some eventually did, their success stories led to an enduring stereotype. We tend to have this misconception that Asian Americans have made it right, that they are model minorities. So I'll stop it there. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the history. It's been a history of the pink man and women
doing what
spewing
they do.
hatred. Yes, spewing hatred their way. Yes. You know, and you know, we get into the images we're seeing today. You know, they show a couple of pinks, but they you know, it looks like it's us doing it.
Yeah, it was disturbing.
Yeah. 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 You know?
It was disturbing. And we've had some disturbing instances, encounters happen. You know, the girl in LA, was it LA? I think it was LA, where the shop owner shot her in the head about some something that cost some pennies, really. It was change.
Latasha Harlins.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, that's her name. It's not something like
Yeah.
that. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And she they were saying that she stole something, but she didn't. She was like,
Right.
okay, you know, you go into a store and you start drinking it and you're walking up, it's a hot day, and you're walking up to the counter. She's walking up, had the money in her hand, was walking up to pay it. And the lady started saying, why are you stealing my drinks? She's like, what do you mean? I'm trying to pay you for it. And the lady grabbed her by a bag, you know, and was holding her and snatching it. And Latasha Harlins, rest her soul, beat the brakes off of her. And then the lady pulled out a gun and shot her. Got no time for it. No jail time.
Yeah. That's very disturbing.
Yeah. Yes. They said that was one of the things that sparked off the unrest here in the LA area. That along with, you know, Rodney King, of course. Can we all get along, Chris?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, but it's a good point. But before we go there, though, so early history, you have any knowledge or anything coming from your family or your elders about relationships with between your Black Americans and your Asian community out there?
Not my family. I went to school. You know, those schools I went to early on, there was some Asians in there, and we were all cool. I mean, you know, we're very, very young, so everybody's cool. You know what I mean? I go to their crib, they come over my crib, and I had a Japanese dude I played basketball with, Scotty Watanabe. He stayed
Scotty
right
Watanabe,
on.
huh?
Yep, he stayed right on 76 and Chappelle. I think he went to Whitney Young, but after we got a certain age, I didn't,
Yeah.
didn't
Everybody
go over
went
there
to
no more.
Everybody went to their separate corners.
I think it might have been more like you were talking about, what happened at Ray. You get a certain age and then it ain't cool for you to come over no more.
No, it ain't. Yeah, the parents and grandparents started literally, who are you? Why are you here? Like, wait a minute, I was just here. Or you get a certain size, yeah. And then in people's defense, well, stuff comes up missing and we get blamed for it. I still question those could be false flags. Just still take the checkbook and blame the black kids. Have a party and steal stuff and blame the black kids.
Yeah.
Not saying,
their parents, Scotty Watanabe's parents was cool until, it wasn't cool no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, as you get older.
I didn't feel none of that until, got a certain
you're
age.
old enough to start sleeping with their women.
And then they moved. He had a sister too. I can't think of her name. Right.
She probably had the hots for you. All right, but now my mom would tell me that's why you have so many Chinese restaurants in our communities. Now, I don't know if it was just from a business standpoint of them, but there was the relationship wasn't bad between Chinese and African Americans because we were going through the same thing. And so white people wouldn't eat the food, and we would eat it. And so through that exchange of information and things like that, things weren't bad early on. We were on the same rail lines and doing the same work. Right.
I'm sure.
Had a common enemy, so supposedly it wasn't that bad. There wasn't that hatred between the Asian community, according to her,
Right. Her experience.
Right. Now, I want to go into just a short history about Black and Asian communities. In July, an 89-year-old Chinese woman. Hold on, I got to get some context. Okay, in July, an 89-year-old Chinese woman was set on fire while walking on the street after being slapped in the face in Brooklyn. The two assailants, she said, didn't say a word before attacking her. She scrambled to put out the fire, but it left a large burn mark on the back of her pink blouse, a grisly reminder of the attack. It was not an isolated incident. Between March 19 and December 31, 2020, there were more than 2,808 firsthand accounts of anti-Asian hate, according to the report by AAPI, hate, which is a 150% rise from 2019. From being barred from establishments or being spat or coughed on, Asian Americans have reported physical and verbal harassment throughout the pandemic, as they've been used as a xenophobic scapegoat for the spread of a virus that originated in China. According to one survey conducted last April, 32% of Americans have witnessed someone blaming Asian people for the COVID, and 60% of Asian Americans have witnessed the behavior. This year, the attacks have seemed to take a more gruesome and visible turn. A 61-year-old Filipino man was slashed in the face as he rode the subway in New York. A 64-year-old Vietnam woman was robbed in a parking lot in San Jose ahead of Lunar New Year, and an 84-year-old Thai man was shoved in the ground, which we just saw in that promo video. These attacks may have been spurred by the coronavirus and then President Donald Trump repeatedly using racist terms for the virus. But anti-Asian sentiment in the U.S. is not new. Just look to the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, which we just covered, which banned Chinese immigrants from becoming U.S. citizens, and President Franklin Roosevelt's executive order in 1942 that put Japanese Americans into internment camps. When the pandemic emerged and the president began calling the virus the Kung flu or the China virus, those who were aware of how race operates knew that we were about to experience a surge of racism that we hadn't seen in a while. Racism against Asian Americans has always been a part of the fabric of our society. It just depends on whether it's overt and violent or subtle and flies under the radar. What also isn't new in times of anti-Asian sentiment is the focus on relationships between Black and Asian communities. Many of the attacks that have gained widespread attention have featured Black assailants and have threatened to inflame tensions between Asian Americans and Black Americans. While Vox, that's the writers of this article, VOX, found no evidence that Black Americans are predominantly responsible for this rise in attacks, or that they are particularly hostile to Asian Americans relative to the rest of the population, the narrative of Black-Asian hostility is rooted in immigration and economic policies that have historically pitted these communities against one another. In America, we need to realize is that there's this timeless structure in which there's always one group on top and another at the very bottom. Though there certainly is an unchanged structure in the sense that this country has had a white supremacist ruling class structure since its beginning, it's not the same techniques of governance or the same ideology, and certainly not the same people. Ultimately, there is a failure to remember what got America to this place of racial hierarchies and lingering Black-Asian tensions, white supremacy. White supremacy is what created segregation, policing, and scarcity of resources in low-income neighborhoods, as well as the creation of the quote, model minority, end quote, myth, all of which has driven a wedge between Black and Asian communities. In fact, it is white Christian nationalism, more than any other ideology, that has shaped xenophobic and racist views around COVID-19, according to a recent study. And for Black and Asian American communities to move forward, it is important to remember the root cause and fight together against it. There's already a long history of Black-Asian solidarity against oppression and structural racism, which has been obscured by these recent fissures. In the late 60s, for instance, Black and Asian activists led the Third World Liberation Front movement to establish race and ethnic studies in college and university curriculums in California. And today, members of both communities are showing up for each other in demonstrations for Black lives and against anti-Asian violence. This is a moment for us to really tell that history, to share that not only have Asians and other immigrants and people of color been blamed and scapegoated, but that there's also a history of our community mobilizing and demanding change and action, that we've stood in solidarity together with other communities. The models we have for understanding and interpreting racism are often oversimplified and lead to frustration and resentment. A simple model of racism that casts people as either perpetrators or victims of racism is divorced from the reality that individuals have dozens of identities outside of just race. The fact is that Black Americans are native-born Americans, and like all native-born people, they are susceptible to xenophobic and nationalistic sentiments that can place blame on another, in this case, Asian Americans, who can be seen as forever foreigners, even if they too were native born. While Black Americans who are overwhelmingly Democratic often have more liberal views on immigration reform, there's also existing research that indicates that Black people may feel economic competition with new immigrant communities that can manifest as broad anti-immigrant sentiment and racism. Scholars also highlight that a lot of this competition is due to a racial hierarchy that has placed Black Americans at the bottom. When newcomers enter the country, they encounter a system that reserves the best for the wealthy, which are white Americans, engendering resentment and zero-sum thinking among everyone else for whatever is left. The conflict between Korean Americans and Black Americans is one of the most visible examples of this phenomenon. In 1965, the United States ended the quota-based system of immigration and began to push for high-skilled labor to enter the country. One group that was able to enter the country were Korean Americans who were hyper-selected. That is, they had much higher socioeconomic and educational attainment relative not only to their country of origin, but also to the native-born U.S. population. Yin Lee Espirito, a professor of ethnic studies who specializes in Asian studies at the University of Cal San Diego, explained how this highly educated population came to the U.S. and was often unable to replicate their social status that they enjoyed in their home country due to racism and other barriers. Instead, They found employment as small business owners, opening up shops in predominantly Black communities because they couldn't open them in the white communities. Many of these immigrants didn't intend to be small businessmen. The structural context is that Korean immigrants couldn't regain the employment and educational status they once held. Their proximity to Black people was because they were only able to start businesses in economically disadvantaged areas. This, coupled with the fact that anti-Black racism and financing meant Black people often couldn't start their own businesses, sparked bitterness on both sides. Espirito added that an additional barrier was that both groups had already been primed to mistrust each other. As Koreans consumed American media, they internalized the racist depictions of Black Americans as violent, uneducated, and poor. Similarly, Black Americans had watched, with the rest of America, as Koreans were depicted as untrustworthy during the Korean War. Edward Chang, a professor of ethnic studies at Cal Riverside, explained the middleman minority theory, which helps further explain the tensions that arose at these Korean-owned businesses. Middleman minority is a term derived from the historical experiences of Jews in Europe and Chinese in Southeast Asia and Asian Indians in Africa. Middlemen minorities exist between dominant and subordinate group in the society and often hold professions heavily concentrated in the retail and service industries like grocery markets and liquor stores. These groups often have daily contact with one another in a way that white Americans often do not due to segregated neighborhoods, shopping centers, and schools. Between the race stereotypes, both groups have internalized the linguistic and cultural barriers separating them. It's a little surprise that continual interactions could lead to conflict. In America's collective memory, the most notable such collision occurred during the 1992 LA riot, sparked by the acquittal of 4 white LAPD officers after they were videotaped beating Rodney King, a Black man. Over the following week, more than 50 people were killed and 1,000 were injured in the uprising that showcased not only anger at the verdict, but also longstanding resentments between Black and Korean communities in the LA area. According to CNN, roughly $500 million worth of damage was borne by Korean-owned businesses. Many believe the 92 riots are emblematic of the relations between Black Americans and Asian Americans, despite the product of a specific time and place. After the riots, churches and community organizers worked to educate the two communities on their shared histories of oppression. Many Korean business owners, for example, were unarmed, were unaware of the violence and discrimination Black people had faced in America. Today, more than 9 in 10 Korean Americans believe there is at least some discrimination against Black people, according to a survey by Asian Americans Advancing Justice. Meanwhile, 70% of Korean Americans agree that the government should do more to protect the civil rights of Black people. According to scholars and activists who have experienced it firsthand, Black tensions have obscured America's root problem, white supremacy. Racism and white supremacy have created longstanding rifts between communities. It's that divide and conquer. So the way the system works, the rhetoric around Black and Asian tensions will be used to discount the white supremacy that actually drives these tensions. All right, that's all I got.
It's a mouthful. A lot to unpack.
Yes, a lot to unpack. I mean, it's kind of what the theme of what I was getting into. Anyone with a brain can see it, the divide and conquer. So these immigrants, they're able to come in the country. They only know what they're being told, what they're learning at the border crossing, what they're seeing in media, what they're hearing in radio. And so it perpetuates this divide and conquer mentality. So that we can't unify with the rest of the oppressed and turn this thing around.
Right. And a lot of their oppression has resulted in them enclosing themselves, and they're a homogeneous society. So, they're able to gather the things. I see all the issues and problems that they've gone through, but it's a separation from what we've gone through. And it ain't a pissing test about the crap we've gone through, but the separation measure of us as they took the homogeneous point of view away from us, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, they were and then also they had other advantages that we just couldn't get. Like, we couldn't get loans, we couldn't start businesses in our own community.
Put in the bottom. They took our land.
Correct. So we couldn't
put us in this place where we can't do anything.
Right. So we couldn't get those things because
loans
of
and nothing.
because of red.
Yeah. They put us in situations where we couldn't prosper. There was once a time that we had every business in our community, and then we were able to start spending with white people, and that went away. And then it went away so bad. I mean, the businesses stayed as long as they could, and until they could not, or the owner passed away. And then we were not given the loans. We were not given the ability to own the businesses in our neighborhood. And they were just giving it away from people coming from elsewhere. That breeded a lot of hostility, especially how they come and they know only what the media says or what from that. And some of them act accordingly, and they try to treat us, less than good. And we can't even own the businesses in our community. It's, we can't separate, circulate the dollar like we need to, and all of that.
Yeah, it's misguided angst, and it's not a pissing contest. Like they're talking about the Asian hate and everything, but it still doesn't come close, even over the last couple of years.
No.
To the hatred that the Black community has been receiving, the lynchings and the murders and the hate attacks. But somehow, this Asian hate became bigger news, which, we're going to get into momentarily. But go ahead, bro. You were about to say something else?
No, I was.
Okay.
I was done with
that. So we got, so let's see. So we went through that. That was a lot, like you said. So like when we come back, we're going to get into more of the stereotypes that Blacks may have about them, and then vice versa. Sources where the stereotypes, where they came from. I think we already said the pink man and white supremacy. We're going to talk about our personal experiences with Asians. What have that been like? You mentioned one growing up. Of course, we went down to U of I, and there was a lot of Asians there, even more now. Yeah. And then, our relationship with Asians over the last 30 years. So we got a lot more to unpack here coming up in the second half of the whole shebang. So let's go ahead and cue the halftime song.
Yeah. Glad y'all here. Thank y'all for y'all support. We love y'all. This is the Self Love Show, and we're breaking down Asian hate. Why now? Origins, causes, cures, and historical relationship would be one. And we got into the historical part, and Nine just told you what was going to happen in the second half. So we're going to get there right about now. We got a couple excellent videos I need you to watch closely and check us out. We'll be right back at you.
It's halftime.
What's the point of life? Lie? Why do we do it? And what's the point of strife? Pimps and whores see right through it. They see fluid. All Johns ain't saints, and St. John knew it. Tricks are preachers, 12 disciples, and so-called druids. See, solid. Get married and have shorties after college. So what's the point? Vibrate love,
Go share knowledge. Silence is violence. Stupid is as stupid does. Join the Give Back Gang Alliance. Gang, gang. That, you know what I'm saying? And one thing I could say though, man, like how y'all moved was you described it right. You know, it was respect. It was respectful. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, man, was like that first generation in my mind. And Self Love, you know, check this, but that first generation of, you know, I don't want to call them renegades because they still have respect, you know, for the culture. Good.
But it was a birth. It was a birth. It was a birth. It was a birth of us becoming new East Side landlords. You feel me? So with all that whipped in the pot, you know, you got the new East Side landlords coming on. So now you got Bump, Big Ups, you know. Now you got G Herbo, Big Up,
Big Ups.
You know, Euclid, 75th.
Man,
sitting on the porch all the time. You know what I mean?
Come on, man.
No doubt. You know that from then to now, we have elevated what we started. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we support that.
Hey, I go ahead. If y'all got some more to add,
Man, it's a blessing. This young brother is amazing talent. And,
thank you.
And he, you know, had the rough around the edges lifestyle. You know what I mean? He didn't come up like that, like everybody. You know what I mean? He'd take care of himself. Him and they took care of themselves. Right over here by my crib, right here. I witnessed it, like, you know what I mean? And I also know that it wasn't their choice. Like the old heads, they was out of there. They got arrested or sent away or killed. And, you know, they was kind of left on an island and, you know, and they did what they had to do. Much respect, salute.
Hey, but I want to say one
thing. This ain't no exploitation.
What's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
Big ups to Trife Mac.
Huge ups.
Big ups. Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, as you said, Self, we're going to get into a whole lot more. We got a whole lot more to unpack. And big ups to I'm the Overseer. He solved the riddle. He said a river, and I'm confirming it with Self Love's answer. And so, yes. So if you guys solve it, you don't have to wait to the end of the show to get the answer, right? So,
right. If it's right there on the app, right there on the screen out there, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So big ups to I'm the Overseer. Big ups. He's becoming a Riddler out there. His mind is getting stronger, huh, Self?
Yes, sir. My mind went through the same process. I knew with the first clue that it was water.
Oh, okay.
And then as it went on, I was like, oh, it's a river.
Yeah. Technically, water is somewhat right, but it's, you know what I mean? That wouldn't have got you a complete right answer at U of I. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't completely right when you added the rest of the
Correct.
description, changed it from water to river. If water was not correct.
Yeah. Like if it was a 10-point question, a teacher might have given you 3 or 2 points, depending on what they were looking for. But yeah, you're right. All right. So we got let's go ahead and shoot into the second half here. Stereotypes, Self. What kind of stereotypes have you heard the B1 have against our Asian brethren?
I think it's really a lot of it's just been media, so I don't even know if it's from B1, but can't drive.
Come on.
Can't drive.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah,
can't drive.
All right. Yeah.
You know, type of thing.
Yeah.
And the small wee wee, you know, I would have no way of knowing anything about that situation.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't hear B1 talking about that too much, but but yeah, no, but that is out there. That's a good one. All right, math. They all can do math and science.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a lie too.
You know what I mean? Like if you had an Asian guy in your math or science class, you're more likely to cheat off his paper than you're off smart black guy's paper. I mean, just keeping it 100. What other stereotypes have you? They can do some karate, kung fu.
Yes, martial arts. Yes. Yes, that's a good one too. That's a huge one.
Yeah. That one.
Definitely all can't do that. They like those cars,
Acuras.
The tricked out car. They trick out the cars.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's about all I heard. You know, that's about all. I mean, as far as stereotypes, right? I mean, I can't think of any more. If you can think of any more in the chat out there, and you know, not necessarily that's coming from the media. I mean, you know, you hear it in the media, but I'm saying that you might have heard from black comedians, or you might have heard it from black people in the neighborhood. One thing people don't know about black folks on the block, we don't tend to talk about other races much. We just don't.
That's why I was like, from what I hear from the media, mainly.
Right. I mean, you know, but you know what I mean? You're right. So you get your comedians in the media and your TV shows. Yeah.
Which is how they learned about us, which is a huge thing. You know what I mean?
It's It's the pink supremacy.
Yeah.
All right.
Pink
You guys
stink.
like, share. Yeah, the pink stink. You guys like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. All right. Any stereotypes you've heard that the AAPI may have for black folks? And your answer is probably right. It's probably all coming from the media too.
Yeah, that's right. You know, feel sorry for your mother. Hurry up and buy. Watch your ass around the motherfucker store and all this. You're a thief. You're a crook.
I say violent, lazy.
Yeah.
Uneducated. Basketball play. They like to think we play basketball and rap. Oh yeah, they love to think that. You're a rapping basketball player, dancing fool, boy. The Asians, boy, they buy all into that one there, boy. They don't even think it's a problem with it, a lot of them, you know. Although I did play basketball and I did rap. I wasn't a dancing fool. We got the large black American penis.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. What else? We don't work hard. I guess that's lazy.
Yeah, I mean, any negative thing that anybody says about us, especially the media, yeah, that's what they got for us.
Were you hearing static and now it's gone?
No.
Or that was just on my end. Okay, that's good to know it's just on my end. All right. Yeah, it's so annoying. Okay. Yeah. So small ups to big media, you know, those who control the media are controlling the programming.
No ups.
Yeah, no ups. They're programming, you know, our minds and you know, creating this division from what I see. All right. Personal experience. You gave one story. Personal experience. You know, I've had a couple of Asian friends, and I hate to say it, they were driving a little zooted up foreign model sports cars, turbo engines, burning gas, but they were cool. You know what I'm saying? Like super cool, bro.
Right.
You know, it goes along those lines. Like it goes back to divide and conquer. You know how the media and everything says Native Africans don't get along with me, but when I interact with those people, they're super cool, bro. You know what I mean? Super
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just been my experience. Same thing
Yeah.
when I get around the Asians. Super cool.
Yeah.
It's rare that I get around a pink person. Well, you know, they got times they won't talk. You know what I mean? So yeah,
You don't
that's a
expose
little
yet.
bit. Yeah, it's a
You
little
know,
bit.
that bone to come out of there.
Yeah.
Come out
Yeah,
of there.
but Self, when I wear this, they smile and they want to talk. It's funny. I just keep it pushing.
It's hilarious.
Isn't it hilarious?
Because they are.
They will not talk to me. You know, Self, you know me. They like normal me with the dreads or even with the fro. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they don't know me, they won't just be friendly like that. Not with me. I haven't had that experience. Talking about pink people.
Yeah, when I had the locks, they everybody was friendly with me.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that at all. But I put this on. You know, they're getting out of cars, the wives, the daughters, and say hi to them. I think they think I'm military or something. Yeah.
They don't
voted
even
for Trump.
realize the orientation of the situation.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting social experiment. All right, yeah, and I'm just looking at them. I don't even speak to Self. I you know what I mean? Say nothing to them. All right, so personal relationships. I mean, like, I've never dated one, you know. Can't say like I hooped with one. Can't say I had one in my inner circle, but I mean, like working, they'll, you know, hey, you need a ride home if I'm commuting,
Yeah.
Yeah. At Ray, we didn't have too many at that time.
Yeah.
Like I said, they keep in their communities, you know.
For the most part.
Yeah.
There's some of them that are in between, like they do what they want to do.
Correct. Yeah. Usually the boys. Yeah. And they might like dating sisters.
Yeah. Some girls too. Yep.
Yeah. In the Bay Area. And it depends on what type of Asian they are too.
Oh, absolutely. Because
Filipinos tend to be more okay to kick it with black people.
Yeah. I mean, and they speak English.
Right.
You know, they had a lot of experience with during the war and all that. So they're like, okay, black people are cool because it's still a base there now.
Now, let me ask you something. Is some of it cultural? Now, you've been in Hotoy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But you've been in that place and I've been in there and you're like, throw some extra sweet and sour, some soy sauce in there. And they start getting all erratic. You know, you got to pay. Okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
It's
like, is that cultural? Like, do they talk to each other like that?
No, that's basically one or two people there, and they passed it down because it's still a guy that's
same way about the sweet and sour and the
he's about the delivery pickup, the gig economy, coming to pick up food to help their situation, like yeah, he
don't know how to talk to people,
right? And it's hilarious because his hair is like this, and he's got like 3 strands that you can see that he lays down every day. They go all the way across his head, so it's very enjoyable.
He's probably using the sweet and sour to slick those strands of hair down.
That's why he don't want to pass it out. But man, you come there and ask about something, he just be mad because you there. Like,
that's what I never understood.
Why you here? You supposed to be here 20 minutes. You here now? Like, yeah, if I don't come here now, the balance, I lose the order.
Right.
So I come here, I'm gonna ask you about the order. I'm not just gonna come here and sit around and wait for you to clear it in the app.
Right. I'm just asking you for a status on the order, let you know I'm here so I can get your food out when it's hot. You should appreciate that. That's the thing about it. So if they get mad when the drivers are late and the food's cold and it's going out to the customer's cold, well, you know, what do you want? All right. So we did that. In the chat, if you had any personal relationships, I mean, what's his name? What's the comedian's name? Dave Chappelle. He's married to an Asian woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't had much interaction. I mean, even at school, they didn't really hang out with me.
All right. I had little interaction.
Yeah, you were engineering. I mean, I'm sure you're in there.
You know, even after I've been divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the internet? I mean, how do you see him?
We've dated a few times. Didn't work out past that or what have you, but
yeah.
Japanese woman, actually.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, things have been changing, you know. Things have been changing. Why do you feel like this Asian hate became such an issue in the middle of the Black Lives Matter movement?
The singularity point of it was how 45, I think that put into the media spin and all of that caused that increase.
I'm the overseer said small penis is facts in terms of average size. Well, I'm with Self Love. I would have no way of knowing.
Yeah.
Right. H. Moultrie said America sold us out a long time ago. He said he's watching Fox and TATN at the same time. Well, this ain't that. He said put it on Twitter. All right. So all right,
So
I'll go
he's
with
enveloped in the truth and the lie, huh?
Yeah, he's somewhere in the middle.
No, he's hearing the truth and focused on the lie.
Yeah, stuck in the middle. Wouldn't that put him in the middle?
No, that would put him stuck on Fox. He's just got us his background noise. The truth.
All right. Big ups to Coach. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Share this link to all your friends. All right. Now look, I want to ask you this. Well, I was asking about the Asian hate. I said it was the overplay for the underlay. Once again, it's divide and conquer. It's the distraction. So black folks we had our knee on their necks as far as the policing and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, it was, the Asians are being attacked. And then they're being attacked by black people. And that just took some of the wind out of the sails, I think.
It was disgusting use of propaganda.
Yes.
Because they have many more instances of other people than us attacking Asians. But they will only put out and distort the view of us.
Of CIA spooks.
That's all they do.
Or, operatives, running around with hoodies and masks on, or people in black masks that could have been white. And then homeless people who are off their rocker, who probably got paid by politicians, go push that guy over. You know what I mean? To create a narrative. Because it makes no sense. Because why is it not still happening? Did the bill make everybody say, I'm not gonna
it's the war in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine, it shut everything down. You know that? You ain't know that?
Yeah, cured COVID. But I'm saying,
even got Falsey talking about, we're past the pandemic stage.
Yeah, he's been threatened. Somebody got to him.
Good. And I hope they continue to get to him all the way.
Yeah, somebody got to him because the bottom fell out of Falsey. Somebody got something on him.
Yeah, he's a liar. So
and
a devil. Allegedly. Yeah.
In your opinion.
Oh, 100% my opinion.
Right. See, nothing wrong with that. You can have an opinion. It's America. All right. So yeah, that's what I feel like, self-love. I feel like strongly, like you said, it was propaganda, it was a distraction. And for them to make it look like there was all Asian, like the black people were attacking Asians. So then who cares about white people attacking blacks? That was weird.
Well, they don't care about who attacks the origines, the people, this land. They don't care anything about that at all. B1, so-called. And whatever happens to us, we deserve it. Because black is a status and they don't respect it at all. This landmass, this fictitious government, this corporation.
Yeah, that's the whole engine that makes the capitalism and the racism go. The black-white issue. The black is at the bottom and the white is at the top. So they have to keep us down for this system the way it's been set up to work.
Yeah. And it's more than just skin color, it's a status.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
They allow so many groups that come here from anywhere. Doesn't matter your skin color, they still get the white status because they're trying to stay a majority or have some weird semblance of it. Because math ain't mathing.
Right, it's because they're not letting the agents do the math. Well, that brings me to the next question. What do you know about the Asian hate bill? Like, what was it?
Nothing. It wasn't pertinent to me to even inspect or look into it. So I don't know nothing about it. It was a royal slap in the face.
So it was a slap in the face because the Asians got some rights?
Because we've been asking for a hate bill since the 1800s. That's why it was a slap in the face. And, I think they did what they did to get it to occur. But I think a lot of this that's going on politically right now is a direct slap in the face, purposefully. Like, they got money for white countries. They don't have money for Americans. Like, it take 6 to 8 weeks to get the check from 600 to 14 or in between or whatever the checks was. And, less than 48 hours, billions going out of this country. They all agree on that.
Yeah. Rubber stamp that right through, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's take care of other people. Like, there was some research done. I think I heard this from Dan Calloway, and I looked into it. But billions and billions go out every year to a bunch of different countries. And they won't take care of veterans. They want to tell everybody to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But they supplying all this aid to a lot of countries that you would think didn't need it.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. You know, we're sending drones over to Ukraine and then saying Ukrainian drone shoots down Russian ship. I could see where that's a problem, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're at war with your neighbor, and you know your neighbor doesn't have a drone, and the guy from 5 miles away, his drone blew up your house. How do I even know that the neighbor had anything to do with this at this point? And your
Right.
neighbor could, right? At some point, they're trying to drag us into a war.
That's the whole thing. When you're talking about this airspace, you got to protect this airspace. You protect the airspace, then you're all the way involved. And this, I don't. Well, no, I'm just gonna say what I feel. I don't think what they're saying is as it's happening like they're saying. I just don't believe anything this media has to provide.
Well, it's funny, we haven't really heard anything come straight from Putin's mouth. But when
Yeah,
Trump was
what?
president, you were hearing Putin on the news, same news.
Well, that was to discredit Trump.
Right.
Totally different focus. So, still all propaganda. Let's us not forget that they went to court so they're not encumbered with telling you the truth in the news. They went to court. They sued so they don't have to tell you the truth. It's just really a program, TV program. It's scripted and it's propaganda.
Yeah, well, you see the Roe versus Wade, we did a show on it, y'all. The Supreme Court's about to reverse it. At least that's, anything to get us back to the polls, right? So
yeah, it's
it's always the end of the world when it's come time to vote.
Yeah, well, seeing as how pink people got a negative birth rate and they are the ones getting the most abortions, they probably would, ban abortions.
Well, yeah, by total number, but Black women get more abortions than, according to our study we did on our show, per capita. We're like 10 times genocide on our people.
Yeah, and they don't want to kill any of theirs.
Right.
It's per capita, but we still got an extremely healthy birth rate, even amongst that.
Right. Yeah.
They not at all. Negative birth rate.
All right. I'm gonna read some of this bill. Okay. Law enforcement agencies. The Attorney General shall issue guidance for state, local, and tribal law enforcement agencies pursuant to this act and other applicable law. Number 1, establish online reporting of hate crime or incidents, and to have online reporting that is equally effective for people with disabilities as for people without disabilities, available in multiple languages as determined by the Attorney General. 2, collect data disaggregated by the protected characteristics described in Section 249 of Title 18. 3, expand public education campaigns aimed at raising awareness of hate crimes and reaching victims. that are equally effective for people with disabilities as for people without disabilities. Guidance relating to COVID-19 pandemic. The Attorney General and the Secretary of Health and Human Services, in coordination with the COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force and community-based organizations, shall issue guidance aimed at raising awareness of hate crimes during the pandemic. This action may be cited as the Khalid Jabbar and Heather Heyer National Opposition to Hate, Assault, and Threats to Equality Act. Findings. Congress finds the following. The incidence of violence known as hate crime or crimes motivated by bias poses a serious national problem. You think? According to data obtained by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the incidence of such violence increased in 2019, the most recent year for which data is available. In 1990, Congress enacted the Hate Crime Statistics Act to provide the federal government, law enforcement agencies, and the public with data regarding the incidence of hate crime. Let's see. A more complete understanding of the national problem posed by hate crime is in the public interest and supports the federal interest in eradicating bias-motivated violence referenced in section blah, blah, blah. However, a complete understanding of the national problem posed by hate crime is hindered by incomplete data from federal, state, and local jurisdictions throughout the Uniform Crime Reports Program authorized under Section 534. Multiple factors contribute to the provision of the inaccurate and incomplete data regarding the incidence of hate crime through the Uniform Crime Reports Program. A significant contributing factor is the quality and quantity of training that state and local law enforcement agencies receive on the identification and reporting of suspected bias-motivated crime. The problem of crimes motivated by bias is sufficiently serious, widespread, and interstate in nature as to warrant federal financial assistance to state and local jurisdictions. Federal financial assistance with regard to certain violent crimes motivated by bias enables federal, state, and local authorities to work together as partners in the investigation and prosecution of such crimes. So they literally took hate crime, which has been going on in this country since before these Asians even got here. Used as an excuse to
before
route
this was
more.
even a country.
Okay. Okay, and then use that as an excuse to route or backdoor money to police jurisdictions all over the country to then continue to oppress us. Is that what I'm understanding is going on?
Exactly.
Because we went from defunding to now sending them all types of money to stop hate crime, but it's Asian hate crime that we're stopping.
Yeah, I mean, black is a status and we're not even human to them.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow. Okay, the Attorney General may make grants to states and units of local government, this is the money, to assist the state or unit of local government in implementing the National Incident-Based Reporting System, including to train employees in identifying and classifying hate crimes in the National Incident-Based Reporting System. In making grants under subparagraph, the Attorney General shall give priority to states and units of local government that develop and implement the programs and activities described. Except as provided in clause 2, in each fiscal year beginning after the date, that is 3 years after the date on which a state or unit local government first received a grant, the state or unit local government shall provide to the Attorney General through the Uniform Crime Reporting System information pertaining to hate crime committed in that jurisdiction during the preceding year, fiscal year. The Attorney General may provide a 120-day extension to a state or unit of local government that is making good faith efforts to comply. They shall waive the requirements of clause if compliance with that subparagraph by a state or unit of local government would be unconstitutional under the Constitution of the state or the state in which the unit of local government is located, respectively. Failure to comply. If a state or unit of local government that receives a grant fails to substantially comply, the state or unit of local government shall repay the grant in full, plus reasonable interest and penalty charges allowable by law. The Attorney General shall make grants to state to create state-run hate crime reporting hotlines. A grant made under this shall be a period of not more than 5 years. A state shall ensure the respect to a hotline. Well, it could be job self, you're working at the hotline. So, man, this just seems like a lot of fluff.
It's all fluff.
Yeah.
Because all the while, they've enacted laws that you can't talk about this type of stuff when you're training people. So what are they talking about? They're saying, oh, we're going to do this and this and this and this. But the states have laws saying, oh, you can't talk about, for lack of a better term, critical race theory.
Yeah.
So it's just fluff and mirrors. It's all some BS, bro. There's gotta be some major change. We need to leave a thing alone, get our own thing going.
Basically, they're talking about data collection, reporting hate crimes, and then TV commercials.
It's all just a bunch of nonsense, man. Like, I don't know, man. You know, it's just my opinion. You know, it's not of TATN and none of that, but it's the Democrats and the Republicans. And we are foolish that's even dealing in their system, because their system will fall down if we don't uphold it. It will fall down. And we go and we vote, we believe that there's going to be some change and put our soul into it. Without us, there's no soul to it. We need to let those people that are in blackface fall down, just like this system is going to. And either you choose to be a part of it or watch it from the sideline. Because they're going far beyond disrespect, far beyond it. And it's repugnant to my sense of universality, because I'm a citizen of the universe.
Facts.
Far larger than this planet, let alone this corporation running my land. Y'all need to go.
Why do you think Asians got a bill, but we didn't get any police reform? What do you think the reasons for that?
There's a whole lot of unification within the Asian community, and they circulate their dollar and they put it behind candidates.
I mean, so we vote 90%. What do you mean? So we're unified as a voting bloc.
No, they get stuff like before he got in office. That's why he did it day one. It was already established that he was going to do that for the
Correct.
Asian vote.
But then
we don't do that, and we don't have no community. We don't work together.
But we pander and let them tell us we'll deal with it after you vote us in.
Yeah, there's some madness. It's stupid. That's why we get nothing. They come and let these Sunday pimps,
the alligator shoes and the slick back hair.
Yes, that don't work, that want your money, so they don't have to work, so they can Sunday pimp you.
Oh, but they call pimping an offering. You're offering it to them. Isn't that some word magic there?
That's
They
why
come
it's
out and
pimping.
pass these plates around, and yeah, it's an
That's why
offering.
it's pimping. 'Cause he's straight pimping. He said, "Hey, you know I'm up here. I'm doing this. God got me here, and he told me to tell you, and you know
offerings,
and we're gonna have another offering. This one's gonna be for the lunchroom. We're gonna make the lunchroom much better. I know it's the third offering today, but dig deep.
The lunchroom's gonna be better, but the food ain't gonna be free.
Dig deep.
All right. Praise the church. All right.
I don't, but
why don't we hear about these Asian hate attacks anymore?
It's the Ukraine war. The whole everything. It's solved all of the problems and issues that ever happened before it. Like, this is the most important thing that's ever happened. A war in Europe. They act like it's a unique experience. Yeah.
I give you that. I think it's more to it than that, though. It's not just this Ukrainian war. I think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish. And, on top of what you said, as far as getting funding, backdooring funding to these police departments all over the country, when the whole election was based upon defunding the police. So they've accomplished their goal. There's no need to sacrifice, more Asian senior citizens, or if it's happening,
They're
like
not reporting it, so it could be either or.
Yeah, it could be, but it was just, it's not even on the internet, you know what I'm saying? But they could suppress that too.
Right.
They could suppress the views. We know that.
Maybe it discouraged all of the bad doers to not do it anymore.
Right.
Asian hate bill.
Yeah. Right. All the bad actors.
Hogwash.
Oh, yeah, right. All the bad actors. So they call them actors.
Yeah.
It's right in your face.
Yes.
All right. All right, I'll give you that. All right. So yeah, because I know there's been a reduction in the attacks. So they claim, numbers can be manipulated. But one thing I want the takeaway to be is that no matter what they told you, a tenth of the attacks on Asians, you would have to multiply that tenfold to even approach what everyday Black people are going through in this country.
Tenfold, millionfold.
Yeah, but
because we get it from them. You know what I mean? They got us in a space where they like, at least we not them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about literal physical attacks. I'm not talking about just racist comments and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's still a million fold.
Right. Yeah, because every article I read said that, by far, Black men and women are still the most victimized by hate crimes.
Yeah, it ain't
but
close.
Like you said earlier, we can't even get a bill
at all, and it's from like they got an Asian hate bill, but we've got Asians hating us. Like, they're being taught that, just like the rest of them people, without even no experience, and then the experience with some of us makes them be even more in that.
Yeah. True. All right. What's your remedy? Any remedy for a strained relationship? Well, before we go there, the overseer said they're required by the attorney general to report it or pay the money back. Yeah, right. And then who's going to enforce these? You know what I mean? Yeah. We're talking about 12 here. I'm the overseer. They're going to do exactly what they've been doing and covering stuff up and
I
spending
think
money.
he's just putting a requirement down, not what they're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because he knows they ain't gonna like we do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they're required to report it or pay that money back. Right. Yeah, good luck with that. And so, but what's the remedy for the strained relationship between the black one and the Asians? What's the remedy? I'll say put some respect in your tone.
Man, and your attitude and your direction and how you some humbleness.
Yes.
In some cases on both sides, but some humbleness. Definitely from their side, because
no, I agree on both sides. But right. I agree. But if you got a business in the community,
man,
and the customers coming into the store, you should be treating the customer with respect.
Man.
Right?
Or get your business the fuck out of community. Man, and don't excuse my French. That's just real talk. Like, respect where you're getting your money, or we won't allow you to get any money.
Facts. Yeah, I agree, bro. I would add to that. Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, the respect is always a two-way street. But there's been times where I've been pigeonholed by, these store people.
Yeah.
You come in there, it might be a liquor store, you're just driving down the street and you decide, okay, I want to stop here and grab whatever. And they're just treating you funny and watching you and following you around the store and not saying thank you when you pay them and have a nice day. Nothing. Just like they just pimped you.
Yeah.
What's going on, fella?
I'm hearing something.
Yeah, that's the producer in here making all the noise she can while she's putting together her food. It's let me cut this mic down here. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, it's really an experience. We have to shut down all of the disrespectful people in our communities, no matter what their business is. Like was stated, they couldn't have their businesses in other communities.
Exactly.
So if you can't, then you got to have some respect and some humble spirit.
Yeah, they're of the opinion though that we're so dumb and lazy that's why we don't have businesses, and they don't know the history of this country. A lot of them, with the Black Wall Street and
there are a lot that I don't know if they know the history, but there are a lot that are humble and those are cool.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the ones who don't know the history. They don't know the history of this country, and they're making a lot of assumptions. And it's not just Asian immigrants. Many immigrants come over here and they're not being taught the history. And this is why there's a push for critical race theory in schools.
All they've been taught is propaganda and crap where they was at.
Correct. And so they won't have these dialogues and be a part of the community, maybe join the church and listen to people and things like that. So it'd be like me moving to China or Japan or Korea, not knowing anything about the history, and then getting involved in some tribal mumbo jumbo and saying, well, that tribe's lazy or something of that nature. Yeah, so
facts.
Yeah, so we that's what I got. I mean, and you raise a good point though. On both sides, a lot of assumptions are being made, but I can tell you personally, I've been respectful and humble, and people still shouting at me and talking at me, and it's like, man, is that just your culture? And you know what I mean? Like, where you get off talking to me like that? You know what? You can take all that food you just made and throw it in the garbage. You're not getting a penny of my money, and then it perpetuates. Right.
The whole cycle. It's like
Right. But all right. You got any final words, bro? To the B1 or the Asian community?
Closer to the same than different. All could be solved in an instant. But it's a lot of misinformation has been disseminated. And has been used and perpetrated as division. Divide and conquer is the work at hand of the pink man, the pink stink, where the pink people stand.
Facts. Yeah. And yeah, I just say, man, we got to be better to one another. Maybe hire a person of color, a Black person in one of your businesses. You'll get to know people. Give someone a job in the community. Maybe people will start treating you differently as well. I understand you want to hire all your family and give the next immigrant a chance to get his legs up under him or her legs up under him when she's here, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Either that or
I couldn't imagine going to Korea and running my business and not hiring one Korean and expecting
I don't know
them to do business with me.
Even possible.
Correct.
Better have a Korean front person. Sure.
Right. But even if it's possible, in this thought experiment, even if it's possible, I don't think they would shop with me.
They wouldn't. That's why I said a Korean front person, if you have a Korean business, because they don't believe in diversity. They don't believe in culturally. They believe in working with themselves.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. Everybody believes that but us. Therein lies the problem.
Well, we've been the most disenfranchised from our nature.
Yeah, I had someone in the chat on that promo video. She asked, why do, our culture keep shopping with them? I said, because our programming has been about fairness and not justice. Difference.
No, I would think it's actually more about convenience and price, because they buy as in a group of 100 stores. So they can provide a cheaper price. And, set alone upon themselves, stores pay a larger price. for the same product. They can't afford to give it at the same price that they can.
Yeah, I wish our people was that smart with our money. I wish we cared. I wish we did care about convenience and price. So you're saying we have to because they're right there.
I don't say we have to. I'm saying that's why it happens. Not we have
it's
to.
a good point. Yeah, I did ask a guy. I mean, to your point, I was out, selling products, and there was a white guy selling products at the table next to me, and literally 5 feet away. And I said, well, why did you go to him and you didn't come over here? And he said, because he was closer. So there's your convenience. So a lot of that convenience is ignorance. When we had ancestors who would walk miles to make a point, so it's stupidity.
I go to Indiana to get gas.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupidity. And another word for convenience could be laziness. If we want to keep throwing our money away at these stores just to save a few pennies and not walk a few blocks more if they're not treating us right. We got to get out of that. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I was hoping maybe it was fairness. We have a way of, since we've been mistreated, we tend to go too far the other way to make sure, hey, I'm not going to not shop with him because he's Hispanic. Hey, I'm not going to not shop with him because he's Korean. Hey, I'm not going to not shop with him because he's white.
Those people are in our neighborhoods, not theirs.
And that's my point.
Right.
Right. But we're so programmed for equity that everything should be a certain way, but yes. Nobody does that for us. Nobody does that.
Absolutely. Every individual that has walked on our 60s movement have surpassed us and just used us as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And pushed their whole agenda based on the civil rights.
Yeah.
And, I don't want to say it, but I think this country, this whole situation, we need to do our own thing and not focus on this country, because this empire too shall end, and it's burning.
Yeah, greed, man. Greed. I was trying to figure out, because they never tell you how those other empires fail. And historical empire self, and you study, Greeks and Rome and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured it out one day. It's just greed. They ate themselves up with greed.
It's a little more than that. It's all the adjectives and pronouns and all that. When all of that is happening like that, and that's the rulership, and it's a bullyship, and
yeah,
it's that it all comes to an end. That's when it becomes the height of tyranny.
Correct, but they won't tell you that the people rose up and burned that motherfucker down. That's the part they leave out of history. That's the part they keep in the stacks and they keep in the Vatican. They just tell you, there's really no reason. We don't know what happened to Egypt. We don't know what happened to this. They might say another, like the Babylonians conquered the Phoenicians. They might say that, but that's all a crock of crap. They probably got conquered, but it was after the people rose up and started burning stuff down.
I mean, you're only going to live in your less than your self-interest for so long.
Right. So many generations.
Yeah, where it don't matter no more about this life. You know what I mean? Because at some point we got to live for the next generation. And,
right.
I got little people, and
right.
Need to make sure that this situation is correct. And like I said, we need to set our foundations on our own thing, because this is crumbling.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, so we did the answer to the riddle. No need to go over that. You guys, tomorrow, mouthpiece included. You know, we got our hot topics, so it's always an open panel. Don't forget to bring your mouthpiece. And we're going to be going over the Bears, Chicago Bears 2022 draft. That's going to be our hottest topic that we conclude the show with at the end. All are welcome to pull up. We'll drop the link into the chat when the show starts, and that's at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time every Thursday, which would be tomorrow. So next week on the Self Luv Show, we're working diligently to get us a guest. We got a couple guests in mind, just checking the availability. So as soon as we get confirmation, obviously we'll get a promotional video out and most Ricky Tick, all right, so that you guys can know what the next show is going to be about. And so enough of my yap. I'll turn it over to this brother to my right, and that's Brother Wordsmith for Tory Wordsmith's final words out there, out there, out there, out there, out there. Well, there we go.
Asian hate. They've been through a whole lot, so I can relate. But there are many advances we could make. Living humble, especially where the money we make. I know a lot of people can't escape where they live in location and don't have vehicles at their disposal or delineation. But you best respect people where your business is. Otherwise, you will be finished. Because when George Floyd got kneeled out, a whole lot of foreign businesses in our neighborhoods got burned out. And the ones that didn't were completely respectful. Almost like the blood on the mantle of the Passover. But respect goes both ways, and that's been said many times in many ways. So let's display it. But let's talk about the business of this U.S. corporation. We need to dismantle it because it is an alien nation. Because it only exists in the District of Columbia. All the states gave power to that federal assumption. It's all false. It's a lie. It's fake doctrine, fake news. Only our belief is the difference in us stopping them. They did a lot of BS in 1913. Woodrow Wilson and his whole regime. We need to bring an end to the madness. We just need to get to that critical mass. But the great empire is coming to an end. Words.